Good morning. Welcome to the MIT Sloan webinar series for incoming MBA students. Thank you for joining this webinar brought to you by the MBA Program Office. We have worked in conjunction with colleagues from offices throughout Sloan to offer these summer webinars to help you prepare for opportunities and introduce you to relevant resources before you arrive at MIT Sloan. Today's topic is the Enterprise Management track at MIT Sloan. My name is Katie Bertman, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. Presenting today is Professor Sharmila Chatterjee, Senior Lecturer in Marketing and Academic Head for the Enterprise Management track, as well as Cindy Quayle, Program Coordinator for the EM track. Also with us today is MBA Program Office staff member Don Peters, who will be assisting and answering any questions. Before we start, I'll briefly go over the process, and then I'll turn it over to Sharmila. If you have questions during the presentation, we invite you to use the Q&A functionality to type in your questions throughout the webinar. Once the presentation ends, we'll be happy to answer all of your questions. Let's get started. Sharmila and Cindy, thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to be here to share background information on the Enterprise Management track and answer any questions that you have for us. So to get started, we are basically going to talk about what is the Enterprise Management track, and then second, why choose the Enterprise Management track, or M track as we like to call it. So what is the Enterprise Management track? It is first and foremost a multidisciplinary track. It has conceptually three pillars: strategy, operations, and marketing. And in operations, we focus both on the traditional operational facets in manufacturing, but also, very important, the process part of operations, which underlies most business challenges. And marketing, we go over segmentation, targeting, positioning, and the four pillars of marketing: product management, pricing, place, which is the channels of distribution, and promotion, which is the communications piece, both online and offline. Enterprise Management track teaches a structured way of thinking, adopting a holistic cross-functional approach to solve pressing business challenges. And last but not least, learn to find comprehensive solutions to complex problems. So Enterprise Management track structures your MBA for leadership. It meets the market demands for creativity and intrapreneurship and gives you the ability to innovate, introduce continuous improvement, and engage in change management. Intrapreneurship is very important because it is a track that is very much focused on large organizations that very much want to keep up the entrepreneurial spirit. And innovation is key. So intrapreneurship is a cornerstone of Enterprise Management track. Cross-disciplinary approach allows adoption of a C-suite mindset at the start of your learning and career. And again, thinking like a CEO paves the way for future leadership. Curriculum. Action learning is a cornerstone of the track, allowing students to apply conceptual and theoretical frameworks to practice. We very much want you to grasp the concepts and theory and then be able to apply it in practice right away. So the very first semester, we offer the Enterprise Management Lab. And then the second semester, we have the Management Practice Hackathon. There are, in addition, 4 required courses and 3 electives from a very broad list. With regard to the Enterprise Management Lab, that is the first course in the course semester for the Enterprise Management track. And it is offered once a week on Wednesdays from 4 to 7 p.m. And the first few classes, we basically introduce what the track is all about. We also have in the very second session, company sponsors who come and talk about the projects they are sharing with us. And the next 2 or 3 lectures are conceptual lectures introducing you to the basics of marketing operations and strategy. And then, of course, the semester goes on to do project work. So more than 50% of class time is devoted to project work in this class. We have very tightly scoped projects from large multinationals and emergent innovators. Last year's projects, these were projects that were matched projects. So you can see the projects that were matched. The matching was based on students bidding on the projects. And every year, we basically have more projects than students get matched with. So for example, last year, some of the projects that were not matched were IBM, City Ventures, VMware. So every year, the projects are bid upon based on the nature of the projects, because the brand names for this lab are really who is who in the multinational world. So students basically focus on the project descriptions to see what their career goals are, what their learning goals are, and bid on the project. So these were the matched projects from last year. Next comes the second action learning component is the management practice hackathon. And this happens in the second semester. So the first spring during the Sloan innovation period, very tightly scoped project, fast-paced 3.5 days competition. Presenters who give the project background information are corporate leaders, government leaders, and nonprofit leaders. So the past topics, as you can see, we really focus on emergent, innovative topics. About 3 years ago, we did Internet of Things meets blockchain. That was 3 years ago. Then 2 years ago, we had facilitating elders aging in place. And last year, we had data-driven solutions to the opioid crisis. Moving on to the requirements, these are the 4 required courses. As we said, we have operations, marketing, strategy, and finance, because a holistic cross-functional approach is key. And so these are the basics. Regardless, though, most of our students do these courses regardless as part of their coursework. But these are the 4 mandated courses. And one of the first 3, Intro to Operations Management, Marketing Innovation, and Competitive Strategy, one of these 3 has to be taken during the core semester, which is your first semester. The last course, which is 15401, it is managerial finance. You can take 15401 managerial finance or corporate finance. However, managerial finance is a prerequisite for corporate finance. But you can take 15402 or corporate finance with the permission of the instructor or by passing the finance waiver exam. The 3 electives. Here we literally have a very, very broad set of electives based on individual interests. It's a very, very flexible track. Only 50% of the total credits are taken by this track. And you can so tailor your choices based on areas of most interest to you. And last but not least, the enterprise management track and the certificates are compatible and complementary, with 2 courses counting towards both. So last year, where I showed the projects that were matched, we had for Ferrovial, which is a multinational Spanish company, the project there was introducing solar photovoltaic cells, how they could enter the US market. And so that would be a perfect complement for the sustainability certificate. One of our TAs did a healthcare project as part of the enterprise management lab, and then basically went on to do the healthcare certificate and is joining Genentech. Another of our TAs basically did the analytics certificate with the enterprise management track and is joining McKinsey. So the enterprise management track and the certificates are completely compatible and complementary. So why choose the enterprise management track? Foremost, most important, putting theory to practice. So this is the only action learning option during the core semester, and start real-time application of theoretical learning from day one. Next is career change or exploration. A large fraction of students who go through enterprise management track are looking to explore different career options and see what they want to do or not do. And this is a great way to basically try out or explore your career options. So you can immerse in a new area, professional experience from start of the first semester. It accelerates the transition to a new area, or at least explore if you so want. And historically, we do a survey every year, and historically, 65 to 75% of the M lab students have said that they discussed their enterprise management lab project in their January internship interviews. This is when the students in January, when they are recruiting for the internship after the first year. And so a very high proportion, this is a great way to talk about an area of interest, as well as you can always weave in your project conversation as part of the interview. Career enhancement, meet market demand for cross-functional expertise. So just in a minute, before the launch of the enterprise management track, we undertook extensive market research. And over again, we basically were told that what we need are your graduates who take a holistic cross-functional approach to problem solving, regardless of the primary functional domain to which they are assigned. So that is very, very important. And as I shared earlier, lays the foundation for future leadership due to the holistic cross-functional approach, adoption of a C-suite mindset from the start, which prepares you very well for future leadership. Most common career paths of M trackers are functional roles in marketing, operations, and supply chain management, cross-functional positions in rotational management and leadership development programs, product development and innovation management, and consulting in large strategic management and boutique firms. So class of 2019 sample summer internships. As you can see, we have a very broad cross-section in terms of where our students go for their summer internships. And next, the class of 2018 job placement. Again, sample statistics, you see a very diverse category of companies where our students place. We very much believe in community. So just sharing some, you get a great peer group, track exclusive events and celebrations. We have networking with corporate partners, huge faculty staff support, and weekly M-Track study lounge and TA office hours. Most common concern that students who are joining this track have, and that is added workload during the core semester. So as we know from our past students, it is manageable and very much worth it if it is compatible with your career goals. More than 50% of weekly 3-hour class time is devoted to project work in teams. Project work, if you so choose, can continue through IAP because the final deliverables are due only in February. However, we have worked hand in hand with the Career Development Office to make sure that there is no conflict whatsoever with the career, with the internship interviews and so on. So you basically submit your draft project report to the faculty mentor the very first week of January, and then you can forget about it. The faculty looks it over and gives you feedback, which you can again pick back on after your internship interviews are over. So we do not want you to have any conflict whatsoever with your internship interviews. Final deliverables, as I said, are due February 15th. And lastly, let me just share some testimonials from students here. I was mentioning my NASDAQ project during the majority of interviews as a great example of working in a diverse team, solving complicated technical tasks with a learning curve and presenting the results to the client. Very helpful. During my tech firm interviews, people are interested in my project experience with Dell. The takeaways are immediately applicable to all businesses and organizations. It was a great learning experience. I was able to transition and receive multiple offers in the healthcare space. My experience with Biogen was critical in these interviews. I got an offer from the company I did my MLab project. I believe that doing the project helped me to get an interview and gain some rapport. We have a very active student advisory board, and so please feel free to reach out for the student perspective. So the contact information of a student advisory board is here. And for any additional questions, we work, so Cynthia Quelly, or basically our program coordinator, she works hand in hand, is a full partner with me. Even though I'm sharing the presentation with you, Cindy is really the backbone of the track and is an amazing colleague and works wonderfully with me and our students. So with that, let me end here and let us go to the Q&A session now.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharmila. Now we'll start the Q&A. If you have not already done so, please include any questions you might have in the Q&A function, and we will answer these in the order that they are received. So the first question asks, hi, if I am interested in a career in big tech companies as a PM, is the EM track the right choice or the E&I track better for that career path?
So basically, the enterprise management track is very much geared towards the big tech companies' product management role. A large number of our students actually go on to assume the project management role. So we have had past students who have become product managers at Google, at Amazon, and so this is exactly the right track to address that career path. Of course, you know, if I'm not saying that E&I, you cannot do that. If you want to pursue E&I, we are all complements. But E&I track, I'm sure, can also help you do that. But enterprise management track is very much geared towards this.
The next question asks, in your opinion, if a student has a short-term goal to go into larger organization while longer-term goal is to go to startups, is EM or EI track a more appropriate track?
Again, I think given our emphasis on large organizations with intrapreneurship at its heart, this very much prepares you for both, helps you get a position in a large multinational, and then going on to do the entrepreneurial work that you are interested in. So two of our projects last year, for example, were in the intrapreneurship domain. So for Philips Medical, we worked with their intrapreneurship unit. And so they're an independent entity within Philips who work on entrepreneurial work. We have also done similar work with the IDEO CoLab, which is an intrapreneurship unit within IDEO. So I think that enterprise management track very well prepares you for this challenge. And again, as I said, E&I track could potentially do the same.
Another question asks, is the management practice hackathon open only to students in the EM track?
Yes, the hackathon is a track-specific activity, and so it is open only to the M track students.
Does doing M track add a bit of load for students in the fall semester since it's extra classes and lab to the core?
Yes, that is definitely true. It is an extra class. So as I said, I wanted to address that as part of my presentation because that is the common question. It is an extra workload. However, as we have heard over and over again from students who have engaged, who are part of the track, and who have done MLab, that it is manageable and very much worth it, contingent on their career goals.
This question asks, are you able to drop EM track anytime if you decide it's not for you?
Yes, you can definitely drop the track. However, the lab, which is the course, so that course we basically, if one does the enterprise management lab, then there are very few hurdles to completing the enterprise management track, but you can drop the track at any time that you want.
Brooke asks, on average, how many students are in a project team?
So basically, the project teams are decided based on three things: the skill set match, the student interest in that project, and the cross-functional nature of the teams that are formed. So we ideally like to have 4 students. 4 to 5 students. However, many times students are very passionate about the project and they will come and say, if there are only 3 students interested in the project, we still want to do it. And last year, this happened quite a bit. So we did have a few 3-member projects based on student enthusiasm for those projects, but typically 4 to 5. So anywhere between 3 and 5 is what it ends up being.
This person asks, can you please go back to the slide with the student contact details? Thank you. Yes, we will move the slide back for you. There you go.
And the slides will be available after this webinar, so you can refer to them. The email addresses are there, and you also might have noticed there are links in the presentation to the full list of electives that you can choose as an M-Tracker.
This person asks, please, can you clarify the course requirements in the core semester? Does a student have to take an opt elective and also the lab?
So basically, the core semester, you have to do the lab, and the core elective is a requirement. However, from what I understand, the majority of our students do the core elective anyway. I don't know if we have the exact numbers of the proportion, at least
At least 90%.
At least 90%. So at least 90% of our students do take the optional core elective. So the majority, so basically we are talking about this extra course, given that 90% of the students take the, at least 90% take the optional core elective, we are talking about this extra course, which is the Enterprise Management Lab.
This person says, I'm interested to join a large healthcare, pharma, medtech, MNC. How likely is it that I can get matched with a project from a healthcare company during the EM lab? In addition, are there students who take both EM track and healthcare certificate? Is this workload too heavy?
Yes, so basically one of our TAs last year, so she had worked in, as part of M Lab, she had worked in a healthcare related company and then did the healthcare certificate and then is joining Gen Tech. So the healthcare certificate, that is, so you cannot do that during the core semester anyway. So there is no conflict between doing enterprise management track and healthcare certificate, because that healthcare course, healthcare certificate course will be done after your core semester. So they are completely compatible, and the M Lab very much helps you do that. Now, with regard to getting matched, one of the things we take into account while forming teams is the student preference. And so that is one of the things we definitely consider while we are matching with teams. Your career goals play a role in it. We, of course, do not guarantee it. However, we make every effort to support your career goals through the project matching process.
This next person asks, for students that leave the EM track, what is the most commonly cited reason?
So there are a variety of reasons, and I think, Cindy, given that you did the survey, you probably have a better understanding. But my understanding is that so M Lab, once they do the M Lab, the other thing is the hackathon that happens during the spring semester. And that is the other thing where there are students who might do a course that may involve travel during. So one of the things is the ops course, but this year ops course where one of our students who actually, Talha, who is now on our student advisory board, he was in that course, and initially he thought he could not do the hackathon because of that course. But then he was able to talk to the instructor and get an adjustment to be able to do the hackathon as well as do that course. Another course is China Lab, India Lab, which also involves travel during that period. However, the majority of students do decide to do the China Lab, India Lab. Those who want to do it, they can do it in their second year as well. So all of these courses are available in the second year. It just depends on student preference when they want to do it or not. So basically it is travel conflict during the Sloan Innovation period with a couple of courses that may be of interest to them. Cindy?
Yeah, I would say that that's definitely the most common reason that people drop it. And you'll find this with a lot of things here at Sloan. There are so many good choices that that often something has to give. If you have something else that you want to choose during spring SIP and can't do the hackathon, that is generally what causes students to drop the track. We think the hackathon is one of the strongest offerings during spring SIP. And we also are exploring this year on a space available basis, allowing second year students to take the hackathon. So students who chose to do something else in their first year but still remain interested in completing the track, if we have room, are going to be allowed to do it in their spring of their second year.
We have two similar questions. One says, can I decide to join the EM track after the core semester? And another person asks, if you decide the EM track isn't for you, is it easy to drop at any point or change tracks?
Unfortunately, the track decision is made during the core semester because every track, so the ENI track, M track, and finance track, they all have a pro seminar that has to be done during the core semester. So M-Lab is the pro seminar for enterprise management track. ENI also has a pro seminar, which would be the 7th course. That is the extra course. And finance tracks also has a pro seminar. So if you do not do the pro seminar, unfortunately, you cannot join a track after the core semester.
That said, if I can just add, this is Dawn from the MBA program office. You know, maybe you decide that the track is not for you at this time, or maybe you decide that your career path has changed and you are very interested in a track, but it's after the core semester. There are the course pathways that you can always follow and to kind of get a similar experience. You would just be missing out on that cohort of individuals that are part of that track and the pro seminars that are only offered during your fall semester.
There's another question that is similar to what we've just been talking about in terms of staying or leaving the track. This person asks, when students leave the EM track, do they usually switch to finance track or to ENI track?
So no, that's usually when they drop the track, they are dropping the track. And basically, because I think that the students put a lot of thought before they register for a track with regard to what their career goals are. And so once they know what their career goal is and what each of the track is designed to do, then they basically are pretty committed to the track. And for whatever reason, if they decide to drop it, then they are usually not switching around between tracks, the majority of the time anyway.
Cindy, can you tell them a little bit about what the process is to join a track and what flexibility they have after they may have selected their initial interest?
The link to fill out the survey, which you need to do in order to join the track, was posted on the announcements on the admit site yesterday. So you need to follow that link, fill out the questionnaire. We and the other tracks are informing people whether they have a spot in the track by August 1st. We generally do not have to turn students away. We have the capacity usually to take any students who want to do it, but you would hear for certain on August 1st.
And if they're trying to decide between two tracks, but they've applied to EM track and they want to, or maybe they've applied to finance track or ENI track and now they want to get into the EM track, at what point do they have to really confirm and apply and make that final decision?
Yeah, I mean, as of August 1st, we provide our list to Sloan Educational Services to register students for the pro seminars. So our MLab or the Finance Pro Seminar or the ENI Pro Seminar. So I mean, if you have questions, you want to talk further, you should contact me. You should contact the program coordinators for the other two tracks, or you should contact an MBA advisor.
But then those first 2 weeks of class, they'll have an opportunity to attend the different pro seminars.
Yes, absolutely. You'd be registered for one, you may attend the others and make a switch at that point if you'd like. ENI is the one track that may fill. But I anticipate there'd be room for flexibility between enterprise management and finance.
This student asks, are students randomly assigned to their project teams or did people pick teammates?
The students are assigned to, so we basically mimic the real world where you are basically, you have to work with your assigned team. And so we do assign the students to the teams. It is a lot of thought goes into team formation where we are looking at the career goals of students, the cross-functional nature of the team, and the skill set match. So we basically take these three things into account to form the teams.
Sam asks, what percentage of Sloan students do the EM track?
So we have had anywhere between, so last year we had 50 students who did the M Lab. And so the maximum we have had do the M Lab is 75 students 1 year, but that's more an outlier, I would say. But in the 50s is sort of more typical, I would say.
Next question says, what special event do EM track students have access to that regular Sloan students will not have? Example, internship placements, networking, or speaker events. And then we just answered their second question, what is the percentage of students that take up the EM track?
So the events that we have are during the networking events that we have as part of M Labs. So those are student only, M-Track only events. The hackathon is M-Track only event. The study lounges are, the study break lounges are M-Track only events.
Yeah, and we are planning a series of smaller group luncheons that track students will be able to sign up for with faculty or with corporate contacts to allow people to interact in a group of 5 or 6 people with a faculty or with a corporate contact.
This person asks, how do you become a TA in the M-Track?
Yeah, so basically the students who complete M Lab, we reach out to them to apply for the TA positions, and we typically have 3 TAs in the class who are actually very much working as mentors for the students. And so it's a slightly different kind of a TA opportunity where you get the chance to really mentor the students who are entering the track. And so you apply in the spring semester for the enterprise management lab, and you have to be track students to be TAs.
I will say, this is Cindy, I will say we have a large number of students apply, which I think is a credit to the students, and it's one of the toughest things that Professor Chatterjee and I do each year is select one of our only 3 of a group of such outstanding students to be TAs.
That's, yeah, that's absolutely true. We have some like phenomenal candidates, yeah.
We have a few similar questions that have come up. The first one says, when will the track registration start?
So July 10th, right? So it started yesterday. On the announcements page. The link is on the announcements page, and I think the last day is 27th of July or some such thing. So started yesterday, goes to the 27th of July, and then 1st is when the list goes for registration.
This person had followed up that said, where is the link for registering for a track? Is it in mysloan.mit.edu? Where is the announcement posted? We were told that we would receive an email, but they have not received it yet.
So we are confirming where that is actually located. It should be on the admit site, but we are confirming and we'll send that out to you guys.
Great. This person says, where are the point posted on the admin site. I can see the webinars recordings for the previous webinars, but not the PowerPoints. So there will be a recording of this webinar that will be posted. I can post the PowerPoints if you guys would like those to be available to the students. They'll be in the exact same location next to the link of where the recording is. So the recording and the PowerPoints will be posted within 24 hours of when this webinar concludes. This person asks, is the registration process first come, first serve?
Yes, I mean, as I said, we have more than 50 spots available in the MLab course in the first semester. I don't anticipate that we're going to turn students away who are interested in registering.
Yeah.
We're still working on the registration link on the announcement page. I know a few of you have asked where it is, and we're working on that right now. There are no other questions at this time, but I would like to leave it open for a few more minutes. If anyone has any last minute questions, please continue to put those in the Q&A functionality. And when we have an update on the registration link.
Yep, so it is live. It's under the announcements, track enrollment now open. And there's information about the individual contacts for the track coordinators, as well as the link to fill out which track you're interested in. So that's on the announcements page, and it will also be updated on the admit checklist.
Great, thank you, Dawn. I'll still leave this open for another few minutes. If anyone has any last minute questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. Someone just asked, how many units is the EM lab?
The MLab is 6 units.
The way that it will show up on your transcript is you'll receive 3 credits in the fall semester and 3 credits in IAP, or 3 units.
Yeah, right, there's 6 units, but one of the things that you will realize after you get here, or maybe after the first semester very soon, is that you are not lacking for credits. Students actually, the required credits for the MBA program here, you guys are so enthusiastic about doing courses, and that usually you fulfill the credit requirements very, very quickly. So, but yes, MLab is a 6-unit course. So, so I think we will close here. Thank you so much for your time. And please feel free to reach out to us with any questions to Cindy or me or the admissions office. Please let us know, because we want you to make a really informed decision here and would love to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep. Thank you, Sharmila. We hope this information on the enterprise management track was helpful. Once again, if you have any further questions, please reach out to Sharmila or Cindy or the MBA program office. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to welcoming you here in August.